Hello, everybody. This is Pete from PA Labs, and I want to begin a series on client server. And I'll profess right up front, the code I'm fixing to show you is not mine. I downloaded it off the forum. I I have no idea when and from what thread out there. But I was perusing the forum. I guess I was bored and looking for interesting things, and I came across this. And to be honest, I tried to go find it this morning. I put in client server and went through about 17 pages of stuff and never found this. So I don't have any comments in here identifying the author. I have no intention to say that I'm the author. This is some really interesting code, and um, it's kind of magical in my opinion because it works so very well. So it uses threads, and I know I've talked about threads. I haven't actually done a um, a lecture, a class, what do you call these, video on threads, other than to say, to have you understand the thread of execution. What this is doing is this creates additional threads. So on the server, if we're going to start looking through the server here, the server defines a few things. You have an enumeration structure that is kind of a automatic handling of new connections, and that is, yeah, that's pretty much what that is. This is the automatic handling of new connections, and this is our person object. This is the client logging into the system. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that we're going to track, and we can tweak it and change it as we need. Now, here I want to get into a few of these. We have mutex, and we have max players, and we have a new map. So map is what other languages call a dictionary. You have a key and instant lookup. So a dictionary, you put in a word, you go find the word pops up with its definition. Same basic thing here. You have a key and data, and you have a key to your data based on a name or a number or whatever it is you're using. So mutex, to be honest, let's see, does the help system give me a good, oh, it doesn't even show up in the help system, huh? Wow, that's nice. Okay, so F1 on mutex doesn't work. All right, fine. Then mutex is an integer. That's what that's telling me. I think he's a count of the threads or a count of the semaphore. So what is a semaphore? Well, let's wait till we get there. Um, so we have a network data thread that takes a person in its constructor. So this is getting ahead of ourselves. So I'm going to collapse that down. So when this server runs, he comes through here and he opens up a console and he creates a network server, and I'm using the local host. And officially, this would need to be my IP address, but for right now, we're just going to bring it up on local host. And then it comes in and prints a bunch of cool stuff. And we say, okay, our maximum number of users, our players, is going to be 6. Period. End of sentence. Cannot go exceed 6. He's going to kick you out. So now here's our mutex. There we go. We get a definition. So I'm pretty sure that this has to do with the semaphore. Is a thread synchronization. Okay. All right. So this is thread synchronization. We're going to have lots of threads. So this is like having a thread pool, and as people come in, they get issued a thread, and then everything stays linked up with that thread that you're talking to. So this server can talk to multiple clients at the same time. That's what that's really talking about. Now, the system sitting here is going to be in this repeat loop, just like in a screen. Okay. If you hit 27, which is the escape key, you'll be able to exit this server and shut it down. So it sits here and says, okay, select the server event for 0. What is 0? Well, that's our network. When we came up here, we created our server 0 instead of actually giving it a name. So we have, okay, we're looking for somebody to connect. If somebody connects, then we say, okay, is it too big, or are we at our max or not? Otherwise, get rid of them. Okay, so otherwise, if he's not at our max, we're going to give him a prompt that says log in. Now, once he logs in, and we'll get to that in a minute. Once he logs in, he's going to be ready to go, and he's going to tell us on the server, he's going to write in that log file that somebody has connected. And then he sits here and waits for information. He waits for me as a client to send him something. And if I send him something, he's going to go process it. Okay. And if I send nothing for a certain, looks like 3 minutes, 180 seconds, he's going to automatically log me off. Okay. So now, if I send him something, he's going to make sure who the person is that sent it. He's going to log what was received, and then he's going to give it a date timestamp. And then he's going to launch a thread. This goes back to the mutex, and this goes back to threading. He's going to launch a brand new thread to process that data that I sent him. Okay. Now, what happens then? Okay. What happens then is this procedure for network data thread. So he calls this with the new thread, and we actually come through and we have to do a peek on the received byte buffer. Now all that is saying I want you to read strings from this binary block of memory of where you've stored the person object. And so we have carriage returns and ends and all of that stuff. So we have to deal with some of that in here. And then we're going to look at the state, person state. So initially, this is that automated piece of this. The person state is this enumeration. So basically, we're going to automatically, when we get a connection, force somebody to go through this procedure. Okay. Now, the procedure is when it's brand new, we're going to say, hey, your state is name. So what we want to do is say, okay, we've got a connection from somebody, and give me your name. And then when you give him a name, he comes back and says, okay, now give me your password. And he changes the state to password. So now we're down here. He's waiting for you to give him a password. And then he's going to come in and say, okay, you're logged in. Now, notice he didn't verify the password. You could actually come in here and have a system password that they have to enter. Otherwise, you get rid of them. So what I'm doing, I've gone in here and said, okay, you're logged in. That is your new state. And then it asks, how can I assist you? Now, he's going to jump over this. This was a previous thing I was using this for. So now, when you next, if your state is logged in and you're done, we have no more of these automatic to do. We're going to come down here with what you've done and say, hey, did he send me a command called C number? If so, go handle this. If he sent me a who, he's going to call this function and go do that. So as you can see, if you know all the questions that people are allowed to ask, he'll actually come back and answer them. And then if he doesn't know what the heck you've said, he's going to turn back and say, huh? All right, now what I'm going to do is launch this. So what's going to happen? We created a network on on my PC right now, and it's going to come up with this awesome little server and says, hey, we've created a server here on this particular port. Now, without any explanation, I'm going to come over here to this server client. This is the people who are going to connect. Now, aside from this being pretty much hard-coded to connect to the same network, we'll go ahead and launch this. Now, I'm going to put both of these screens on my screen so you can see them. Come on. Sorry. There we go. All right. Now, so if you notice, we have a connection here. Now, he should have come back. There we go. Now he's saying, log in. I've got your connection. Who are you? I'm going to say Pete. And now he answers with password. Now I'll just put in PWD. Now, how can I assist you? All of these should be ringing bells from the server. And I'm going to do that. What do we expect to answer? Huh? What if I said C number? And there's my connection number. What if I said who? This is asking how many people are logged on today. And how about if we say count? This is kind of a smart alecky one. Counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there we go. The counting has finished. Wow, he did great, didn't he? Okay, how about if we say help? Sorry, there is no help for you. Okay, and then I think it was quit. Yes, quit got us out. So now we're logged off. Okay, so this is how client server works. You have a server that is expecting exact and certain questions and certain code to come through the gate. Once it comes through the gate, then it expects, it sends back the answer to the question that he's already expecting. Now, this is a intranet piece of software. This does not go out to the internet. It's got to be somebody in my network right here in my house. Okay, so this is the kind of thing you want to use on a game. This also is using the TCPIP protocol, which is the same network transport protocol that my network is and that the internet runs on. So this is theoretically, well, not theoretically, this is not using the internet. This is using only the network for its communication. It's not using the internet. There is no internet to be had. Okay, you can't type in an IP and go out with these numbers that I've created. These are non-routable numbers. Your local IP, what was that? 127.0.0.1. It's down here somewhere. Here it is. This is non-routable. It can't go to the internet. Your 192.168 standard household IP address is also non-routable. Myself, I don't use that because everybody uses that. I prefer to use the series of 10. If you start, it goes back to a Class C license on IP. If you had 123.12.12. Okay, and then actually here it's a wild card. It's going to be 0 to 255. All right. So if you own a Class C license, you own this number right here. And if you own that number right there, you own everything that's below that. Okay. So you can have a, a number here from 0 to 255. You can have a number here from 0 to 255. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many numbers that is, but that's thousands and thousands and thousands. Okay, so just so you know, the Class C license 10 dot anything dot anything dot anything is completely non-routable and open for use for anybody anywhere to use on your internal house network. Now, nobody ever uses it because all machines come, everybody puts in the 192, 168 dot this dot that. And that's non-routable too, but there's another series to use. So that's just kind of a side note. And if somebody's trying to hack your network, they're going to go after the 192, 168 and try to figure out how to get into your network. They may not even think about the 10 series because the vast majority of people have 192. Okay, so back to this. This network is created on your local IP, your local internet IP address of your machine that's issued from your router. So it is an intranet network, not an internet network. So somebody can't connect from the outside world. They can only connect from the network that we're connected to right here. So uh, that's the first video on this topic I'm going to give, and we're going to explore this heavily on the war game, because as units move, we're going to have a server running, and as the clients move their units, they're going to ask the server if things can happen, and then they'll make them happen. So the server kind of runs the game. So, but anyhow, that's the end of this video on server client. I didn't write the code, but it's amazing code. Now, I'm probably going to include this with the custom controls, and I'm definitely going to include a version of it in the war game. So I wanted to start hitting on this and introducing people to client server running TCPIP. I want to thank you all for your time. This is fascinating code and it's a fascinating topic. Thanks for your time.